Rosemarie and Rick, great job and thanks for sharing your analysis. Deep dive session number 1 is up next with Mirko Voltolini, Global Head of Network on Demand, Colt Technology Services, Franck Morales, Vice President of Connectivity, Orange Business Services, and Ari Banerjee, VP of Strategy, Netcracker. I'm joining them to talk about evolving infrastructures to create dynamic partner ecosystems that enable new platform B2B 2X business models. Mirko, Franck, Ari, beam me up. Wow, that is still so cool. I love it. Hey, and nice to see you all are here ready to go. So maybe before our questions also materialize in front of our own very eyes, let's take a moment to learn a touch more about yourselves and briefly what you do. Mirko, let's start with yourself, followed by Ari and then Franck.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. So my name is Mirko Voltolini. I work at Colt Technology, and I'm responsible for strategy and innovation, so looking into the future.
Hi, John. Hi, everybody. My name is Ari Banerjee. I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategy for Netcracker. Again, my role is to look into the future and bring that into our solutions and products.
Hi, everyone. Hi, John. Mirko, Ari, happy to be with you. I'm Franck Morales. I'm working within Orange Business Services, where I am VP for Connectivity Services, and I'm also have the honor to be a MEF Board Director.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Franck, let's stay with yourself, if that's all right, and go with some questions. Franck, tell me, what are the major challenges and emerging trends faced by service providers today? What are you seeing?
John, okay, but maybe let's set the scene by having the customer in the room. And let me give you the opportunity to share what are, let's say, the most recent discussion we have had with our customers. First of all, we could say that SD-WAN is really and definitely the foundation of any architecture evolution for digital transformation of any companies. So that is quite a good news for all of us. But with the acceleration of digital transformation, we could see strong evolution elements. I would say 3 of them. With the experience of the crisis, the challenge is now for companies to move from running the business to changing the business somehow. And as an example, we have enabled thousands of employees to work from home during the pandemic with having any disruption. But now, with a mix of remote working, working from home, and working from offices, companies are looking for more opportunity to create value. For example, for in the manufacturing activities, the ability to have experts managing remotely industrial machine by using augmented reality from anywhere in the world. That's a great opportunity for them. The second subject concerns the huge and important broad transformations that manager of infrastructure have to make at the same time. They have the cloud transformation, they have the edge computing transformation, they have the SASE transformation, they have the SD-WAN transformation, the working from home transformation, and they have to make all this, while being responsible of the existing environment with potential issues, of course, from legacy architecture. And to achieve that, successfully, they need to count on reliable distributed platform ecosystem. And the third element they have to face, companies, is with the pandemic, now the link between the IT transformation and the business transformation is getting closer and closer, with a strong demand in terms of ROI. And so IT manager have to develop and roll out very rapidly new technologies because it corresponds to new business case. And so for us, as all our network technologies are now IT assets, we have to manage carefully and rapidly the release management in order to give them the new use case, the new capability to deploy new use cases.
Wow. So then if I was going to dig a little bit deeper on this, it is the deep dive. So when we talk about connectivity and ecosystem, what do you think is truly at stake today?
What is at stake today, we could see that the new design sticking to what we call all of us SASE, the Secured Access Service Edge, is really what is at stake today because it fits well with digital transformation needs. And in this model, we could see that traditional boundaries, internal versus external, where network security services are usually used, are distributed across the edge of the networks, close to the users, close to the objects, close to applications, instead of being centralized in a central or regional data center. And this design brings performance and flexibility for enterprise that are adopting a full cloud, internet first, industry 4.0, working from home models. And in this model, we could see three strong evolutions that could challenge traditional way of doing one for companies, for service providers, but as well for vendors. The first one being to be able to deliver the best performance, security, and flexibility, and the three at the same time, and not one at the expense of the others. The second one is an open platform architecture design where the overlay and the underlay are working separately, and where the underlay is fully based on internet. And the third one is the ability within this platform to deliver on-demand and security services to secure flows from users, wherever and whatever network they are connected from, to applications located in any IaaS or SaaS architecture.
All right. Well, thanks for digging in, Frank. I really appreciate sharing all that. So, Mirko, I'm going to jump over to yourself for a moment, and maybe you could help me understand what's the role of service providers in this hyper-connected world, in particular, in respect to serving enterprise businesses. What is the role?
Yeah, I mean, Frank already touched upon it, but let me just elaborate on that. We're going through a major transformation in the business world, and this is driven by the adoption of a number of emerging technologies in the digital space. I'm talking about artificial intelligence, IoT, blockchain, augmented and virtual reality, and of course, the adoption of cloud. These technologies are not anymore just part of the IT backend in the enterprise space. They are now becoming an integral part of the business model of these enterprises, and often they're actually at the center of their new business model. As an example, think about the automotive industry, the car industry, where we connect the cars, autonomous vehicles, and all the multitude of different technologies that are part of this fundamental change in the industry. And so back to the question, the role of the service provider, the role of the network in this world is actually central. Unique connectivity to make this world working, unique connectivity to be able to transport the large amount of data that enable training of AI system, unique connectivity to collect data from the billions of IT sensors we already have deployed, and the more billions will be deployed over time, and unique connectivity to enable digital twin technology for AR and VR. You need a lot of capacity, so a lot of network capacity, low latency, a high reliable and dynamically controllable network.
Well, Mirko, continue on with the line of question about service providers. How can service providers really leverage the partnerships?
Yeah, so this is a very complex world. To glue everything together, this digital world, you need partners. No one can play alone, and service provider needs to form these close bonds with a multitude of different partners, cloud providers, first of all, as we're talking about network and cloud, technology providers covering all the areas I mentioned, and of course between themselves to create a digital ecosystem. Integration is key. These technologies needs to be operated seamlessly to create these sophisticated capabilities that I described. You can look at it actually across the geographical geography dimension and the service dimension. So you need to expand on both in terms of coverage, so globally as well as on the service stack. One of the elements here we need to consider is API and automation. This is one of the answers, one of the elements that we need to create this ecosystem of capabilities, and service provider needs to be able to interconnect between themselves and the rest of the ecosystem using these loosely coupled mechanisms that are reusable and scalable, so you don't need to recreate them all the time. And we embrace full automation, ditching the procedures that we currently have in place in terms of moving away from manual steps. This is where the work we've done within MEF to define the lifecycle service orchestration comes into play.
Thank you, Mirko. Thanks for sharing with us. Ari, I see you sitting over there with Netcracker. We did not forget about you, so here we go. Share with me, how keen are CSPs to broaden out their services beyond connectivity and security and bring in partner apps or services into their offering? And a further question, what is the criteria to make that successful?
Good question, John. I think when we look at our customers as well as the broader operator community, there is a huge interest for them. There's a demand, there's a willingness for them to bring much more services beyond just the connectivity services to the market, and to do that with a bigger partner ecosystem. Now, if you look at any of the industry research, we are seeing that with our customers, but if you look at with the industry research, even Gartner and others are looking at it the same way, there is a big demand. Now, one of the things we have seen is the operators' communities' interest in bringing more enterprise or B2B services as part of their services. I mean, Franck talked about, and Mirko as well, SD-WAN and other services. These are very, very enterprise B2B centric services for obvious reasons. What does that mean? How do you bring those together? One, there is the wish list, and also to make it really happen. And Mirko pointed out, these are complex things to bring to the market. You need to bring, the automation becomes the center point of this. It means how quickly can you bring partner services, onboard them, mix them together, and then bring that from a B2B2X kind of a perspective. Everything related to the partner ecosystem needs to be automated. From an onboarding to your contract management to settlements to making all this happen needs to be as automated as possible. How do you help? How do you accelerate the self-onboarding these services? How can you bring their offers as quickly to market and bundle that with your broader offering and bring that to the end consumers? How do you track your partners? If we are talking about a 10x increase or 100x increase in number of partners as we move into 5G, as we move into edge cloud and these kind of services related around that, the number of partner ecosystems will be going up exponentially. You need to track your partners who are successful, who are profitable, who has who have more complaints. Maybe you're going to renegotiate with those guys. How do you manage the overall license management for this huge ecosystem? And as a vendor, as a Netcracker, we are doing this very extensively with some of our customers across the globe. Being their central linchpin, bringing it together, and bringing it for, and maybe providing a white label services as well as others for their customers. One aspect on top of it, which becomes important, is the whole joint development aspect, where a strategic partner works with an operator, works with other vertical industries or other partners to create that unique offering. Because it's one about just pass-through services. The other is to create a joint development, create this unique offering, which includes third party, which includes operator assets, and then bring that unique services to the end user. So the whole environment around how do you create this joint development using Agile DevOps type of processes to fail fast, to move these services very quickly, and manage this whole ecosystem and the revenue sharing relationship across this whole ecosystem very, very effectively.
Awesome. So
can I just jump in here, John? I just want to add on top of what Ari said. I think gone are the days where you just buy a single system or technology, a network, and then you just spend 12 months or more and then forget, and you have it there for five or more years. We're living in a world where you need continuously change your capabilities. And I think we need to evolve our IT stack and our network stack as well in a way that makes it really agile and easy to change. So it's a combination of off-the-shelf capabilities you can buy from the outside, but as well as building internally to be able to make these changes. I think, as Ari pointed out, agile development here is key. So you need to be able to change things continuously.
Yeah, always changing capabilities and evolving them. Well, then, Ari, tell me, what new BSS capabilities will CSPs need what will they need to enable, I should say, for this platform-based business approach?
I think there are a bunch of different things. One, and I think the core of all of this is to be able to bring together different offers, bundle it together, and then provide that. So it's a combination of not just a connectivity service, but there's all this value-added service. So partner management becomes very critical because you are dealing with plethora of partners who have different contractual agreement with them. So a revenue coming in is shared with multiple parties. So the whole multi-party compensation business model becomes important. Being able to handle alternate payment terms and mechanisms become important. Dealing with licensing as part of it also becomes very, very important. Partner portal, digital marketplace, your CPQ or pricing mechanisms for these services, underlying order management system. And obviously, at the end of it, depending on the type of services that you're rolling out, the rating and charging part of it. So if it's a 5G related, let's say a virtual reality centric services, you might be looking at a convergent system, which will be able to support this ultra low latency services and offerings, whereas some of the other services might not need that kind of ultra low latency requirements. Obviously, create a B2B2X kind of a model for the end customer. In fact, we are doing that for some of our top customers. One of the customers which comes to mind is a value-added IT reseller called Bechtle in Germany and Austria and those markets where they're using that their platform from a very B2B2X kind of a model where it's not just about rating, charging, partner management for their enterprise customers, but also using some of our cloud native applications in the marketplace. So their end enterprise customers can use, let's say, a CPQ from Netcracker or an order management or an invoice management as a microservices from the same common marketplace where they're downloading services such as for SD-WAN or business productivity services or Office 365 or any of the other types of services. Same can be played and same can be applied for some of our customers such as a T-Mobile. We are doing that for next generation IoT type of services, which is on top of their connectivity, etc. services that they're rolling it out for their enterprise customers. So different facets of it. I think the older systems, you had revenue management very separately, the BSS, than the partner management. With this ecosystem, and as it's going to become more and more popular, when we look at 5G and other services, the integration point between partner management, revenue management, settlement, contract management, rating, charging for the services, invoicing, all needs to come together very seamlessly to make this model very effective and, the most importantly, scalable.
Oh, thank you. True.
Just to add on that, and all what Ari has described was very true, and that's clearly the reality. And in front of that, for B2B customers, the importance is as well the customer experience to go through all this, as you were mentioning, Ari, from the quotation to the ordering to the following to the monitoring, and as Mirko was saying about the endless story of moving all these services is where we need very strong DevOps, IT capabilities to automate all that and to put that in front of our customers. It was very clear. Thanks, Harry, for this.
Oh, thank you, Frank. Thanks for adding on to that. Now, Mirko, earlier on, you were talking about evolving capability as service providers, but let's talk about the service providers themselves and how do they need to evolve to be successful in this world? What do they need to change?
Yeah, so again, building on top of what has been said, what I said earlier, I would summarize service providers needs to embrace this digital world. And it's a very holistic approach. You need to look at all the various different elements of it, start from the foundation, so looking at the network. It needs to be transformed from a current static and manual capability into a more dynamic on-demand component, leveraging technologies like software-defined networking and virtualization, so making it more software-like. And I think that's ongoing. But I think alone isn't sufficient. Technology is not the answer to the question. You need to look at your processes, how you support the consumption of these services. They needs to be re-architected around automation first approach. I think we also discussed already the skill sets. The companies to evolve, enterprises, so providers to evolve to enable the creation of these capabilities with network and IT becoming one. And on the business model side, you need to adapt and incorporate different way of consuming services. So moving away from, again, static consumption into a more on-demand pay-as-you-go type of model. I think last also we touched on partnership. Your go-to-market needs to incorporate partners. You just cannot anymore go to market by yourself.
Thanks, Mirko.
John, if I may just add on to what Mirko said, I think he touched upon some very, very key points. I think the different types of mechanisms or interaction with consumers or enterprises becomes important. So trial, a free trial, for example, for a certain duration of time, providing them an extended offering so that you can provide at a discounted rate to its as a referral to its other branch properties, for example. So there are different types of payment mechanisms and business model mechanisms, as well as incentives and cross-product discounts and things like that. That makes all of this much more, it's creative, it's interesting, and that differentiates your offer. Because at the end of the day, if you are just, I am bundling Office 365 and sending it, or I download Office 365 directly from Microsoft's website, not a whole lot of a difference. But if you cross-product bundle that and you provide a better discounting mechanism on top of it, plus you give them a 3-month free just because you are a great customer. And how do I know you're a great customer? Because you have a good customer lifetime value. You have never got into collections and you always pay on time, and you're a multi-country operator. So you have a single pane of glass to make some of those decisions. The next best action, the next best offer becomes much more customized, much more focused. And it creates a better revenue uptake overall for the operators.
Thanks, Harry. We'll continue. As earlier on, you were talking about a marketplace-driven approach that includes partner offers. Can you explain further how CSPs can build this type of marketplace?
So when I talk about marketplace, it's not a new concept. There has been marketplaces that operators have evolved and used in the past, whether they have created their own marketplace or whether they have white labeled somebody else. The problem with the generation 1 marketplace that happened maybe 5-7 years back is that it used to be a siloed, separate marketplace which used to be there to sell value-added services. So it's a swivel chair approach. Somebody calls in the operator, they will provide voice video connectivity. I'm an SMB, I'm calling in. And then the thing is, there is a marketplace, guys, so it's a different place with a different URL. Go there and you can download productivity apps and things like that. It misses out on a big opportunity, which is people are looking for a convergent experience. It's about the digital customer experience, which is, one umbrella. It's a one kind of a thing where you come in and you are not only providing or getting and buying connectivity-centric services, but also the same portal provides the options and say that, okay, you bought this service, operator. You bought this services. Based on that, your profile, we're understanding, we are providing you recommendations. So you're not leaving that universe. You are in that same universe. And so what happens, you're now bundling your connectivity, non-connectivity services with business applications and services and all of that under the same umbrella, providing the better rates, better discounting, better offers, better suggestions, and things such as those. That becomes very, very important. Something we have been doing with our digital market, Netcracker digital marketplace, our offering with Netcracker Business Cloud is to bring these two sides of the world, the value-added services with the connectivity services, with your IT application, and all under the same umbrella. So what happens? You don't have to jump around. You are there. You are in there, and you can provide that to do that. So it becomes a full stack. It becomes a integrated part of the overall go-to-market strategy for their customers. And obviously, the end customer doesn't have to bump around into different places here for connectivity. You just convert the experience and make it much more seamless for them.
Awesome. Frank didn't forget about you sitting over there. We see you. So I'm going to bring it back over to you, my friend, and even change direction a little bit. So share with me when we talk about yourself and how do you perceive the evolution of the ecosystem and the collaboration between service providers, but as well with vendors or cloud service providers?
Yes, so thanks, John, because as Mirko was saying, and I will touch on that as well, the concept now is you can't go alone. You need to integrate partner, and so the evolution for all of us, I mean for a service provider, is to move on this journey to be a SD-WAN and SASE service provider, providing a great value to our customers. To do so, we need to create and adapt to a much larger ecosystem, as it has been mentioned already. And to do so, first of all, we need to manage accordingly internet from the backbone standpoint, but as well hundreds of internet local service providers through rapid and easy way, thanks to MEF API, for example, but also to monitor their performance with we are doing that with Thousand Eyes Probes for in our case within Orange. We need to set up a wide footprint platform with software-defined POPs. Mirko was speaking about the software-defined technology. The software-defined POPs, we call them the next gen, but much more than being a name, is the cornerstone of our telco cloud infrastructure. We need to build this telco cloud infrastructure. Then to welcome with Fabric any vendors that will help us to provide the right services to our customers. And we can host them with VNF, for example, in our telco cloud infrastructure. We can also interconnect them with API to make sure that we are together providing services at the right pace to our customers. As I said before, our customers are expecting to get the right technology at the right time. And so it is the way to deliver this to our customers. And last but not least, and you mentioned that in your question, John, to be well interconnected with cloud service provider, hyperscalers, being able to manage a connection to their platform, and also within their platform. More and more, we have our customers that are asking us to be able to manage not only the connection to the hyperscaler world, but also inside the hyperscaler world during the different regions, VNet, all these kind of things. The target at the end of the day is zero-touch provisioning. As Mirko was saying, it is a journey to go to full automation for all network and service configuration. We are quite advanced in the backbone, and we want to catch up as well in the service to be around 75-80% of this in 2022. And this network automation and APIization is really the prerequisite for end-to-end on-demand service delivery, because it's really what our customer is expecting: on-demand network services, on-demand security services, and as Ari was mentioning, a lot of services around that. So, for instance, we have a customer that can ask a combined service with accesses, internet accesses all over the world, the WAN, virtual functional network function hosting in cloud connectivity or in security. And we need to be able to orchestrate and to deliver this from one portal, as Ari was mentioning, the customer experience and the digital experience, and to monitor all that to our customers. That's really where we need to go, and in this ecosystem all together with hyperscaler, vendor, and other network service provider.
So that is where we need to go. And let's bring MEF into the equation then. So as a service provider, how do you see the MEF role in that context?
Very important, first of all.
Good answer, like that.
Yeah, like that. But why? Because the pace of technology transformation is amazingly fast. And it's always a period where we are in the balance between going fast and going reliable. And but between these two paths, there's always the path in our industry, in our, let's say, network industry, to go with the interconnection, the standardization, the certification way. This way, why? Because it's the only one to ensure both for customers to make sure that they will benefit from persistent technology. The standards will be managed over time by everyone, by vendors, by service providers, now with cloud service provider as well. And for us, for service provider and vendor, to ensure that our investment in this technology will meet the market. So that's very important what MEF is doing, and is playing an essential role by developing API to interconnect at right level, at network level, but as well at orchestration level, defining the SD-WAN architecture and services, including the way to secure these fabrics by defining SASE, and by looking at that not from a silo standpoint, as I think Ari was saying, but really at a global use case of network transformation. And MEF really is the only operational industry body specialized on this B2B segment and defining rules between service providers and customers, service provider between them, service provider and cloud service provider, and service provider with vendors. The full ecosystem is the one expected by our customer to succeed in their challenges. So MEF is playing a very important role in that.
Thank you so much, Franck. And thank you all for being a part of MEF Episode 6, Federations for Digital Transformation. All right. Let me go back to the studio the same way I got here. Check this out, gentlemen. Watch this. Wait. What? I better go ahead.